There's so much information.
Oh, I know. I just didn't. I was trying to think of where to break in, and I kept, no, this is good. It's really good. So, yeah, we'll just. Hey guys, Pete Koch here, Breaking It Down with Aaron Williamson. Part 2. I told you there would be a part 2 to this interview. He's back. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Pete.
And we just got to the part where Aaron, and this is the proverbial getting discovered in the standing in line at the bank in Hollywood kind of moment that you had in New Orleans with Zac Efron. You have a surreptitious meeting. You guys connect. He finds out he's working on a movie where he plays a Marine. Mm-hmm. He's filming in New Orleans. You're a bodybuilder, trainer, professional trainer in New Orleans, and he says, I need you to help mold me into the character that I'm looking to portray in this film.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're working with other actors, other pros that are making, because New Orleans at this time, what year is this?
This was 2010.
It's booming.
End of 2010 into 2011.
That was the peak of film production in New Orleans, and so things are looking up, right? So you're here. So I'm just mapping this. I'm just thinking this through for you, right? So you're competing in bodybuilding at the highest level, living in your car. After you meet Zac Efron, maybe not living in your car that much longer because things are looking up. And what happens next?
I didn't know what to expect after my work with Zac, but I met a director producer, Anthony Hemingway. We hit it off. He lives here in LA. I trained him for season 2 of Treme, and then he was encouraging me to come back to LA, and I was actually starting to think about it. And within a few weeks of possibly making that move, I got contacted by Sylvester Stallone. I got contacted by Zac coming in town for another movie. Josh Duhamel was coming in for a film, and then I ended up getting a call from the production office for G.I. Joe Retaliation. So it all happened in just such a short amount of time, and it was like a wake-up call that, wow, there's something here. So I stayed, and this is what I'm...
And you've revealed to me that it was Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, that had an impact on you. Can you tell me about that? Yeah,
we... Obviously, I'm sure most people know who he is.
And biggest star in the world.
Yeah, so he's to be communicating with him on a daily basis, and being in the gym with him and training together. I wasn't his trainer; I was his training partner. So we were kind of a meathead tag team.
Is that how he prefers to work, to have a training partner rather than engaging in a trainer?
Yeah, because it was one of the things where when you're training someone, you're basically getting instruction and that type of thing. Whereas him, it's feeding off of each other's energy, which a lot of times we would just both throw on our headphones and kind of go at it, and it was a finger sign or a head nod, which we knew where we were going. It just worked.
I like that story. For those that don't know, Dwayne Johnson was a defensive end, like yours truly, at the University of Miami. So this guy was a high level, didn't make it to the NFL, but he was a high level athlete in college. And trust this, that at the University of Miami, their strength and conditioning program is of the highest order. So he really knew his business, and he knows his business as a strength athlete. Yeah, you know that firsthand.
Absolutely. Yeah, we would brainstorm the workout the day before each time, so we knew what we would get into the next day. But during the course of us training, he would feed me little bits and pieces of info, that would help me out with my career into film, because at the time I didn't know anything about film. I didn't know anything about the industry. I didn't know anybody in it really. And the most crucial piece of advice that he gave me was, your success is going to be based on the relationships that you build. And it's not going to be anything other than that. It's not going to be about money. It's not going to be about who you're training. It's not going to be about what movie you're working on. It's going to be about the personal relationships that you nurture and you take care of. And to this day, I think about that comment every day. Everything I do, and it's very, very true. And I feel like it just translates into everything in life. Relationships are just very, very important.
Powerful words. That's wisdom from The Rock. What about what got you to LA? What was the move to LA?
Uh, I was training a lot in New Orleans. I started meeting directors and producers. There was encouragement to get in front of the camera, so I started doing stunts, got into acting. What I found out through acting was, I came back from Iraq with PTSD. So when I finally got into acting class with a good acting coach, it was a struggle because being a Marine and then being overseas in that environment, you're specifically trained and you're programmed not to be vulnerable. And acting is all about vulnerability. So it was an extremely uncomfortable situation that I was in with my coach, to the point where we're like ready to throw blows sometimes. And anyway, he broke me down. I loved it. It became this huge therapy for my PTSD. I started to get auditions. I got an agent. I have a manager now. And anyway, acting is my happiness, which I would have never have thought. But it's something that therapeutically I benefit from, and it allows me to get on a platform where I can help speak about my journey and what I've been through, which now I'm here in LA on a bigger level. I've got representation out here, and later on this year there are some projects that I'm going to be involved in, which, God willing, will put me on that next level.
Would you say that PTSD is such a big conversation and an important conversation, and the whole subject of head injury, whether it be TBI, traumatic brain injury? I'm wearing a t-shirt. This is totally a coincidence. This is the Harvard study that the former NFL players like myself, they send us this swag to generate some awareness of the study of the brains of deceased NFL players. And would you say that acting class, to study acting, is medicinal towards PTSD?
And personally, I can say yes, because I'm very stoic. I'm very guarded. I don't fit into society very well, just because of the way I see things based on what I went through in my life. But since I've been in acting and I've been able to break down those walls, I can empathize more. I can relate to people. I can understand people better, and I can use a lot of this deep down stuff that's built up inside me and do something with it. So if I have to play a role that requires me to be very dark, I can just kind of pull that out and use it. And so it allows me to tap into different parts of me that I wouldn't be able to tap into any other way, and there would be no reason to.
And at the end of the day, I've talked to folks with PTSD, and they discuss some of the pain that they feel from depression and anxiety. Do you feel that the training that you've had as an actor has, is it possible that it could kind of lighten that load emotionally?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any formal programs that you know of within the military and using? I mean, there's comfort dogs and all these different programs available to folks with some folks with PTSD. Do you know if there's an acting program?
Not to my knowledge.
Maybe we need to look into this. Maybe
Right.
This is something that one day you could get behind, and I'd like to join you in something like that if I thought it could help former players that I know that are suffering from. I know that's been depression and anxiety has been something I've battled with my entire life, and maybe and when you bring this up, Aaron, it's interesting. It's got me thinking, like, maybe that's why I was drawn to acting class. Maybe there was something going on there.
It was a complete unexpected surprise, and I just talk about my whole life being this destiny thing, and I want to use my journey and my career and my status, whatever that may be, to do something that's never been done before. And I believe that my military background and what I want to do for the military and with the military is going to be the catalyst in all of that. But it's speaking from being overseas for so long, when you come back and then you see just the nature of society and the selfishness and how ungrateful people are and how they just feel entitled, it's a tough place to be in. So every day is a challenge for me, and the acting piece helps me kind of utilize the right energy where I need to put it.
That's powerful. What's going on right now? Let the folks know what you're up to right now, acting-wise. If there's anything, I know some of the stuff you can't really talk about. You don't want to get ahead, but is there anything right now you'd like to share about what you've worked on or what's coming up?
Probably one of the greatest moments acting-wise I've had so far is working with Arnold Schwarzenegger on Terminator. I played the refugee Terminator, and being a kid.
This is Terminator Genesis?
Genesis, yeah. And so being a kid back in my family room with my dad and brother watching Terminator, and then here I am now, Terminator in the opening scene of Genesis, very surreal. I'm doing some TV work right now. I'm waiting, just did a pilot for A&E. We're waiting to find out if it gets picked up. And I'm also training, along with a partner of mine, Dana Perry. We train J.K. Simmons, and if you want to look to see what he looks like nowadays, 61 years old, and he's probably in the best shape he's ever been in his life, and it's just very satisfying and gratifying to be able to bring that passion out and give it to someone who is willing to take that that leap and be dedicated to the process and trust the process because it works.
I've seen the photos. That looks absolutely amazing. Tell the folks how they can get a hold of you and check out pictures of JK and just get a hold of you for any need they might have.
All over social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter. My website is aaronwilliamson.net. I get all the emails. I try and answer back any messages I get on my social media. So I love communicating with anyone who wants to chat it up.
That's it. Go ahead, hit him up. It's Aaron Williamson, actor, stuntman, all-around personal trainer to the stars. He's killing it. Former Marine. Thank you for your service and thank you for your conversation. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete.
Pete Koch, Breaking It Down. See you next time.